Mark Zuckerberg, listen here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there.
It's freaking Mark.
Is YouTube working?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Let's see. Let me go to the channel.
I think we may have got copyright striked on our own material, ladies and gentlemen.
What the?
Yeah.
Hey, it only took 7 songs though. That's pretty good, you know.
Is it nice? Yes, it is. Nice.
Let's pick it up from that funky trumpet
All
song.
right. Well, let's give everybody just a second to get back in here. Yeah. It's frustrating. You know, when we released the video of Cyrene Song, you know, like last week, and like literally but by the time that I even went around to post it, we had already gotten copyright striked on our YouTube channel for our own song that is associated with our digital distribution partner. So I don't do better. That's all I gotta say to
you have millions of dollars to do better. Just do better.
Yeah.
This is our music. Do not mute our music, please.
This is our music. Hey,
we do own the
Winston.
rights. We do, in fact, own the rights. You know how people say that I do not? Yeah, like we do.
We own the rights to these songs.
We wrote these songs. Promise, we're talking about it.
Oh man, but yes, I think if for those of you who are just jumping back in, I think we might have gotten zucked there.
Ooh, I like that phrase. Zucked. Let's just call it that.
I think we got zucked.
Yeah,
there.
pretty
that's a good
hard.
way to call it.
Zucked hard.
Can't call it
on our own original material. Yep. But what are you gonna do?
So there's like 9 people missing. If you guys could just like get back on here quick.
Back in here.
Get back in here. We lost you.
If you can't hear me, raise your hand. All right.
Baby, come back. Get out of focus. Now we're really gonna get copyright striked.
Yeah, sure. No, you guys don't sing anything that's not ours.
Oh, you say just start the song off now? We got about 12 people watching.
Yeah.
All right, we got about 10. Let's just, I guess, maybe I don't know. I'd start it back up.
We're
good
gonna
enough
start
to
it back
hear
up. By the
twice.
time we
People
get to that
catch
point,
back up here.
They'll be back. Yeah.
All
Take
right.
2 of
Take 2.
track 7. Less on my mind.
When I'm feeling lonely, you can see right through me. I got nothing to say, nothing in the way. When I'm feeling lonely, I got less of my mind than myself. When I'm feeling down, I can't get around. Well, nothing to do, nothing to prove. When I'm feeling down, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. Oh, when somebody pulls me out of my haze, tells me all about my selfish ways, all I can say, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. When I'm feeling sad, I can't get mad. Well, just let me be. Why can't you see? When I'm feeling sad, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. When I'm feeling angry, don't try to change me. Well, I'm just getting by. Well, if I try, when I'm feeling angry, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. Oh, when somebody pulls me out of my haze, tell myself. I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind. I got less of my mind. Got less of my mind than myself.
Right on, man.
Elizabeth staying, throwing the zingers.
Zingers.
It does really kind of slap, though.
It does kind of.
It does. I mean, without that trumpet, though, it was a different beast. I mean, once we added that trumpet, it just like skyrocketed the song. I sent it to my buddy to listen to it, and he was like, "I feel like I'm in a nightclub smoking a cigar." And I was like, "That's exactly what we were going for." So
Totally changed the vibe of that song, adding Aaron on there. Shout out to Aaron and to his band Tumbao, man.
yeah, check out Tumbao if you like Latin fusion,
I
funk,
left
high energy.
like probably 45 minutes before he got here that day. And I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
No, he laid down. He had a bunch of different mutes, which was funny. I didn't think about that. He's like, I got this mute, and then like we picked the one that we thought was best. He did like,
And then Derek was
3
like,
takes.
I got this toilet plunger mute. You want to use this one?
There you go.
hey, no, that's like back. He used to use that back in high school. You know, when the times were a little more tough. You had to use a
it's
plunger,
tough,
man.
You got to use the plunger head.
Nah, we told him we wanted lots of growls on that one, make it sound nice and sexy.
Hey, we got another Aaron in the chat. Thanks, Aaron.
I told
Hope
him.
you're doing well,
I told him
buddy.
my girlfriend wasn't allowed to listen to that trumpet solo because she would leave me.
We were supposed to reply to a comment before our stream crashed,
Yes.
which was talking about if we're playing our album at Palmerum.
Yes.
We have our set list already written out, don't we? Or not?
Kind of, yeah. We have an
To an
idea. We
extent.
have like a rough idea of. We have the set list for the next couple nights, and then we're gonna do some sort of variation off of that.
Now that you
Yeah,
asked,
Palmer.
no, we're not going to play that album at all.
No.
But,
What album?
It's all going to be grateful. We're actually going to do a 3-hour long jackstraw. If
Then
that's
actually
cool.
no, we'll Jack Straw, and then we're gonna do a super long drum space.
Oh yeah. And we're all going to get off the stage and just Derek's going to fucking do some drum space for like an hour and a half.
And
So
that's
I
what
hope
y'all
you
want to
really-
hear, right?
I hope you love drum space, man. I hope you love it. Yeah, if you're
Oh,
here, I
man.
hope you're still here. Reply if you're still here.
Are we still live? Did we get
Miss you.
zucked out
I
again?
think we're still live. Hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully we don't get zucked again.
Yuck. Yeah, I agree. So we'll talk a little bit about this song quick. So if you've listened to Banjo Tone, it was really hard out of all the instruments to record. For some reason, Winston showed up on whatever song, maybe This Old Train, the first song we recorded, and he was like, "Give me a 57 right here, and give me this right here, and it's gonna sound good."
You know what they call that?
Professionalism. Yeah. Yeah. I got something for that, but it's not PG, so I'm not gonna say it to you. But yeah, and he showed.
God, oh yes, that is a true statement, my friend. That is
It's concession time. Yeah, exactly.
Take a
man.
bathroom break.
I was just gonna say
concessions,
that's
you know.
why we're gonna go get beers and maybe go out back and just hang out. Talk about the show, have some good times. Anyway,
Maybe get a few laughs, head down to the coast.
you know,
get a few
I don't
laughs.
know what's gonna happen. Anyway, so getting back to Banjo Tone. Yeah, so Winston showed up, he's like, "Give me 57 in this microphone," and Brian had this amazing setup for bass, and bass came through really, really well. And I don't know if Derek and Brian, or if it was just, I don't know, someone got guitar sounding really well. But anyway, someone presented this thing, and I'll let Brian talk a little more about it, but it is an RCA microphone. If there is any traditional, I'll say this, if there's any traditional bluegrass fans listening right now, this is what like Flat and Scruggs would have performed on. Anyone that played the Grand Ole Opry would have performed on a microphone just like this. And I knew a little bit about him, but I came over one day and they were like, Derek's like, "Let's use this RCA," and I was a little skeptical about the whole situation. And people were talking while we were getting banjo tone going, obviously. Well, why don't you talk while banjo's going on? And Derek's like, shut up. He's like, it sounds good. I fixed it. He's like, it's all working, and anyway, going forward, this is an amazing RCA, and I'll let Brian take over from here.
So yeah, that's just a RCA Ribbon microphone. It's traditionally it was a vocal microphone, and it's something that I got from my dad. My dad, and a lot of like the music that I listened to came from my dad's influence, and he used to work for a number of years in a studio in Nashville, and he got it at an auction in Nashville at some point during the 80s, and he gave it to me a few years back, and I was really, really excited to actually finally use this on an album. So we recorded a lot of the banjo, like at least like the later banjo stuff with this microphone, along with all of my vocals on the record were used with this microphone, other than the studio tracks that we did, which are coming up soon. But yeah, it's just it's a beautiful, like warm sounding microphone. I love it to death. It's a great sound. They only made them from like the 40s into like the early 50s, and so it's microphone is considerably older than everybody in this band. But yeah, it sounds
amazing
great.
that it still works and how well it sounds.
Ribbon's held up over all these years, and yeah, it's,
and like it shows how things were made at that point and how they're made now. You can go on Amazon and get 7 Shure 57s if you want, but you can't go get an RCA like this like you want.
Yes, no, well you can, but
you can.
It's gonna be harder to find.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
It's a great microphone.
And the song coming up is another great song. One of my, it's probably, it's actually competing with Less in My Mind right now. So I'm gonna say top 1 or 2, but on the album. Love this song. The guys gave me the opportunity to actually write a kick for this, and as big of a headache it took for us to figure out a groove for this song. Really happy with how this one turned out on the album.
This song is called Midnight Wind.
Forsaken me, I did the best I can, running blind and chasing time, the howling of midnight wind, the howling of midnight wind, stone by stone and brick by brick. I built this jail I'm in. Through the years I felt the tears, the crying of midnight wind, the crying of midnight wind.
this house I roam, seeking the truth within. And on a cold and rainy day, the past it ran away, running from midnight wind. We're running from midnight wind. Well, hey, my darling, won't you sit a while next to me and listen to the wind that set it, this prisoner free. It's been 10 years now that I've been free. I was changing the tides on the lunar destiny. In a town far away, I can hear the wind cry, singing its last goodbye, singing its final goodbye. Goodbye, my long lost friend.
My favorite song on the whole album, right there. Just gonna say it.
Man just said it.
Gonna
Record it.
Just gonna say it right there. There
It is a banger.
There it is, John. You're right. There it is.
There it is. Put it all on the
It's so-
table.
I really hope that babies get made to that song.
John, do you want to just express some feelings for us as a band and just write it and post it and we'll just hang out? John, you listening?
He'll hear it in about
Hello?
he'll hear it in about 30 seconds.
John, hello.
Hello.
Please say something.
Hey, thanks, Tater on Switch. That's awesome. Twitch. Thanks for checking us out. Give us a
That's
follow.
what we're all about, exceeding what is necessary.
Hey Tater, call your friends, tell them to come.
It's a Twitch party.
Ain't no party like a Twitch party.
There you go. So yeah, I don't really necessarily know what to say about this one in particular.
Well, I mean, like he mentioned before the song started, we basically had to refine the groove of this song. Then we completely re-record it. This
We
is the one
did,
that
yes,
we
yes.
scrapped it because it was like too fast or too anxious, and
We didn't talk
we
about
just started
that.
over on the entire song, which just
Yeah.
happens sometimes. You just got to do that.
Yeah, if it's not coming together exactly the way you want it, it felt like for me, like, 'cause for a long time we played live, we played this song kind of fast, and then from there, you know, it was like I wanted it to be a kind of lyrical driven song. Like, what's funny about that though is that, you know, when I wrote the lyrics to this song in particular, I didn't really have any sort of concept in mind. But it kind of like brings me to like kind of what my, you know, philosophy is as a songwriter. And that's kind of like, you know, what my intention is when I'm trying to develop a song. What I'm trying to say is just one aspect of that song. It doesn't necessarily mean the end all be all of what that song is. I think what's more important is what kind of emotions and what kind of feeling you get from listening to it, and what your interpretation of that song is far more important than what I ever meant to say. You know, if I'm like the themes of it, I guess, you know, it's I really don't even know how to describe it. It's one of those that's like it's kind of difficult to like put into words. But one thing I will say though is I have to like I have to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back for like I think that song contains my favorite line that I've ever written and that I've just enjoyed more than anything. I think it's changing the tides on a lunar destiny. I've always just like when I wrote that I was like, damn, that's good, man. like
I know it doesn't have any meaning, but just I'll just say real quick. I think I think it sounds like someone that's just really chasing the midnight wind. Is that dream that
yeah.
Everyone has it. I know everyone has that dream, and what I get from that is that's whatever that character is in that song is stretching after every time they're trying to reach that midnight wind, and it's always just a grasp away.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably that's probably the best explanation that I could even give for it. Because there's other songs throughout the album that kind of reference this concept of the midnight wind, which is funny afterwards. Like after looking into it, and Charlie Daniels wrote a song called Midnight Wind. I had no idea it even existed.
R.I.P.
Yes. But yeah, no, I think it's just kind of like that's kind of one of those that it's whatever you get from it is what's important. I think is the better overall.
I mean, one of the lines ended up being the title of the album.
Thank
so
you. I was just about to say
there
that
too.
It's funny.
We'll give credit to my man Winston over here.
True statement.
We had a meeting one day and everyone had to think of a title for an album. I had zero. And Winston said, Midnight Wind's got this great little line in it.
I was scrolling through lyrics sitting at the stoplight at Gorman Street. And I got through all of them, and that was like the only one off the whole album that I was like, that could work. And I was like, but that could really work, though.
Yeah.
And then we'll give a shout out to Jack too. Jack
big
Snyder,
time, my boy.
It was awesome. Not like working with him, but not working with him in the sense of like it was all through email and stuff like that. And basically us telling Brian, oh, this would be cool, or this would be cool. And
Talking about the artwork.
Brian would have to
Yes.
figure out how to write this in an email to him,
Yes. So yeah, we're talking about like the artwork in general. Yes. And just kind of like developing where like all these songs kind of have somewhat of like a common theme about like people like searching for something, learning from their experiences and trying to develop themselves further. And just kind of the idea of running blind and chasing time, thinking about the last year that we've experienced as like individuals, and I know that everyone else has felt the same sort of way. But yeah, I love how everything came together.
Well, and going forward, just talking about artwork. If anyone wants to go check out this next song we're about to listen to is 40 Eastbound Road, and I'll let Brian talk about this, but real quick, go check out the artwork on Spotify or Amazon or iTunes or Google Music, streaming platforms, that is. We got the artwork back, and I was like, could we get a guy like that's like painting like that last little strip up on the artwork? And you guys will understand when you see it, or if people have seen it, you'll understand. But it was awesome. Jack fucking nailed it, and thanks, Jack.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you, Jack. But without further ado, this next song here is called 40 Eastbound Road.
Well, here I go again down the Stoneson Church Highway, the way I've gone 100 times before. Blazing the trail back to the Carolina shores, when I'm heading down that 40 Eastbound Road. With the miles I've drawn, I can circle this whole earth, still make it back home for supper time. See the sunset over water, that DuPont manslaughter, the Cape Fear River's always on my mind. Even though I may be gone, still my memory carries on the simple truth that can't be bought or sold. Don't know when I'll return, but there's one thing I've learned. I love this church 40 Eastbound Road. north, south, down to Wallace. Nearly lost my mind when I caught a case of Dublin County blues. When I crossed that county line, it was there I come to find. It's a long, hard road and you gotta pay your dues. Well, you know I miss my friends, some I'll never see again. And my old run down home on 7th Street. Golden Compass Tuesdays, fun, sunshine kind of haze. Don't you know that the past is bittersweet? Even though I may be gone, still my memory carries on. The simple truth that came and bought a soul. Don't know when I'll return, but there's one thing I've learned. I love that stretch of 40 Eastbound Road. I made it into town for the Friday night panic jam. Feels damn good to be back here again. Times they can change, but my love stays the same. And so does that 40 Eastbound Road. Even though I may be gone, still my memory carries on. The simple truth that came and bought a soul. Don't know when I'll return, but there's one thing I've learned. I love that stretch 40 Eastbound Road. I love that stretch 40 Eastbound Road. I love that stretch 40 Eastbound Road.
Hey, dog, I do believe you did sell your soul to somebody.
Yeah, I can take over here again. So this song is essentially my love letter to the town of Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington is a place that it will always have a very, very special place in my heart. I moved to Wilmington about a month and some change after I graduated high school at 18 years old. Got a job down at the Blue Water restaurant down in Wilmington. And before I even went to UNCW, which I went to UNCW, that was the reason I was moving there. But wanted to get down there so quickly, I just crashed on my buddy's couch for a couple months and lived there for about like 6 years. And this band started off down in Wilmington. I spent a lot of time driving back and forth between Wilmington and Raleigh on that stretch of 40. And, I just kind of wanted to put all my thoughts out there about, what I felt about that town, what it meant to me. It's, at that time in your life is always a very, very significant moment, ages, like 18 to like your early 20s, where you kind of grow into the person that you're going to be as an adult. And that's Wilmington's where I did that. And so I just I talk about living in my old house on 7th Street, that I lived at for like 3 years, my buddy Cole. Shout out to my boy Cole. I started off playing music down in Wilmington, where it wasn't really even, I never thought I was going to be a musician as a career. It just kind of like happened. But where I first like played out for people was at the Goat and Compass Tuesday night open mic nights. That was the first time I ever really put myself out there and shared who I was as a musician, and giving shout outs to 98.3 The Penguin, which
It's a different
introduced
kind of
me
bird.
to. It's a different kind of bird, man. It introduced me to all sorts of great music, going to concerts at Greenfield Lake, and getting connected with the amazing group of musicians that live down in Wilmington, from, our boy Will and like Jesse Stockton, I feel like we have to give a shout out to, love that dude so much. Like boys from, Medicated Sunfish, Isaac and Josh and Kyle, and,
Gotta give a shout out to
Dubtown and
John Fonville.
John Fonville,
awesome guy.
like Joan Smith, like,
Jones.
there's like so many awesome musicians down in Wilmington, and I feel so lucky to have been a part of that scene at one point or another. I love every time we get to go back there, and it just feels like my home away from home. Like I grew up around Raleigh, but I still feel like a very strong connection to the town of Wilmington, and that song, like I said, was essentially my love letter to Wilmington. Thank you for providing me with some great years.
Got to give a shout out to Jones too. This next song is one that we actually went into the studio and we
These next two songs.
I'm sorry, you're right. Next two songs. D&D. I think of Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, I thought we had a new song called Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's on the album, man.
Sorry, tripped me up for a second. Next two songs. Yeah, we got the opportunity. Go hang out in Wilmington. Awesome studio. It just got kind of revamped. Hourglass Studio.
Yep. Shout out to Mr. Trent Harrison.
Thank you. I wanted to say Trey. I'm sorry, Trent.
Hey, bro.
Trey's here, bro.
Trey's here?
Trey's here.
Yeah, Trent was awesome. Dealing with us doing three songs actually, but 2 songs and they were 10-minute songs each. And we're like, let's do it one more time.
Yeah, it's only 1:30 in the morning. Let's do another take.
No, but Jones gave us the opportunity. Derek's bass at the time really needed some loving, and shout out to Greensboro Bass Fiddle Shop. They hooked him up with a new little setup, but Jones let us borrow his bass, and it was awesome.
But you will see that the bass is sitting in the back of the
Yeah.
room.
Jones, you're the only one that's gonna know, but your bass is in the back.
I mean,
of the
it's
room.
nothing against the bass, but I was so used to this high action on my bass that regardless of whatever buzz was coming from the neck, we just had to roll with it because that's just what I was comfortable with. But it does look really cool.
Well, we
got to
give it. I mean, Derek like pushed his way through on his bass. Like he was like literally. You don't know it in the video, but he's like holding his neck and his fretboard together while playing at the same time, so that buzz isn't coming through.
Yeah, I could see light through my neck. It was like coming apart, but yeah.
I played it, Jones. I played your bass some while we were there. So thank you. We fit actually 2 upright basses in the van at one time.
That's true.
Shout out to Bruce. Big shout out to Bruce. Let's take a second to shout out
Take
Bruce.
a shout out to
Bruce.
my
To
black
Bruce.
Dodge Grand Caravan.
Not black. Mine's black. Yours is like
Yours is like
navy
gray
blue.
black.
Gray black,
like-
yeah.
We call that charcoal, boys.
Charcoal.
Charcoal.
In the industry, we call that charcoal.
Anyway,
All right, here you go.
Well-
Well, we'll stop rambling and
without
we'll give you
further
some
ado,
music. This is called the Cyrene Song. Cyrene.
Siren.
Sorry.
In the hill of Appalachia, French Broad River winds, traveler seeking distant land, words he couldn't find. Walks along the riverside till the night grows cold. Bakes his camp on the rocks, so the story's told. So the story's told. That night he heard a lover's song. In the distance, a face he can recall. Every night's black, there's no more looking back. Where the river only flows into the dark. He woke in the morning, not knowing what was real. His cloudy eyes reflect the lies the river couldn't heal. He takes up on his journey, not getting very far. The dark night is calling him, his once again he falls asleep on the rocky shore. That song now consumes his mind, leaves him wanting more. At night he heard a lover's song, in the distance a face he can recall. Every night's black, there's no more looking back, where the river only flows into the dark. He came across a river bend, poured the water deep, long before the haunting voice called him back to sleep. He tries to lay his head to rest, but dreams are out of sight. So he sails along the riverside, stares into the night. From waters deep he heard a voice, it's like a mellow lark. Sees a distant figure approaching from the dark. Reaches out his hand for her, quickly turns to fear. That siren song has turned to screams, try to disappear. At night he heard a lover's song, in the distance a face he can recall. Every night's black, there's no more looking back, where the river only flows into the dark. Well, the river only flows
That's a good one.
That's good right
There
there.
you go, there, folks. There's old Lester Roadhog here, and
Cadillac Cowboys.
the Cadillac
Y'all
Cowboys.
be on your best behavior.
Lester Roadhog. That's a good one.
Gotta love them 8-minute jams.
All right,
That
yeah.
was
Well,
fun,
that is
right? Hey, Elizabeth. Are you still there? Because you said you'd leave if there was like an 8-minute jam.
Got a little feud going on over here.
And
Little
got
viewer
got a
feud.
little feud, a little spicy there. But yeah, that's a track called the Cyrene Song. Yeah, it's basically about what it's about. It's about I draw from, I mean, kind of. Like I've said a couple of times, I draw from a lot of like historical, things and like folklore and stuff like that. And this was like the concept of the siren on, and the old brother where art thou kind of like vibes, the guys like going down the river and comes across this siren and that's about it. That's about, I don't have too much to say about that. That's all I got to say about that.
This was one of the first songs where we structured out a jam towards the end.
Yeah,
We were like,
yes,
we need
Truth.
something that's like not
Yeah.
just random.
I'm not gonna get too far into it, but we actually had this thing called the barn that we went out to practice for a minute, and I remember this song and the next song is kind of where we really kind of got more developed on on the structure of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with this song and then the next song are like the two of the longer songs on the record. So these are the longest songs on the record. So we made the conscious decision to go to the studio to definitely record these because we wanted them to be entirely live. We didn't want really. There's very, very, very minimal like overdubs on either of these songs. The only
Dude, we didn't use any overdubs. What are you talking about, dude? I have no idea what you're talking about.
You'll notice
man.
that I'm not singing my vocal when I should be
yeah,
singing.
yeah.
It's like very small things, like just a
Well,
harmony.
Yeah, well, like some of that, like with the harmony, anytime like for like when I sang all these songs, I sang both of these songs live, and so the guitar microphones were picking up my vocals, so we tried to limit the amount of that kind of stuff as we could, and so we made the conscious decision for Derek to just sing his harmony part after the fact, or like on this next song, Winston plays dobro in the live setting, but we also kind of wanted mandolin in there. Winston only has two hands.
So I played both
So-
at one time.
Dude, it was amazing. I watched them. I got out of the booth. I actually they let me out of the booth to watch it. It was pretty amazing.
I played one with my feet.
But
How it
yeah,
goes down.
because of how long the songs were, and especially the jam section on the songs, we wanted to make sure that to keep that same live feeling to it. So we went to the studio, knocked them out in one evening, and that was the quickest recording process that we had on this whole album, even though the songs were the longest.
It took 2 buckets of fried chicken and a
Yeah.
6-pack.
A good
of,
friend of
I'll
Mason.
tell you
a
what.
six-pack of
Winston
Celebration.
ate about a whole entire bucket of fried
I
chicken.
did too.
that
We each
night.
got one. I gave Mason a breast.
Hey, you
I
are
gave Mason a
competing with me,
breast.
man. Giving me
Yeah.
some competition.
Shout out to Mr. Mason Godwin.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
He's the man.
Mason.
He
yeah.
he did all like the handheld only one evening. That is a true statement, Elizabeth.
Just this song and the next one, though.
These two
Just so
songs.
you,
Yes.
yeah.
No, the rest of
we
the
wanna
album.
make sure that.
Like a year.
Yeah. Let's talk. No, we're not. Let's not talk.
I was about
that.
ready to kill all of these boys for
So-
coming into
I
my
was about
house
to
every
shoot
single
myself.
day
What
for
are you
like
talking
months.
about? I had a gun with a bullet ready to go. I'm joking.
Whoa.
So we
Whoa,
recorded
now.
all these scratch tracks at the barn that they were talking about. So most of
we
them.
weren't gonna talk about it, man. Let's not. Talk
So
about
I just
that.
gotta shout the barn out though, man.
Yeah,
the
we
album's
barn,
can shout,
yeah,
kind of
we
love
can
the
shout
barn,
the barn out. No, we and maybe we should do that. We should make a vlog about how we cleaned the barn.
Well, we already did, man.
we need to make a revamped one, dude. Yeah, go back and look at this whole project. That it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to take, but it was quite the project. We'll say that.
Was.
Yeah.
It was. But yes. So yep, here we go. We're getting on to the next of the jam songs. Darkness and Despair.
Brand new video alert.
Dungeons
There you
and
go. And this,
Dungeons
yes,
and
you said this
Dragons.
is a This is a brand new video here.
Never
very-
before been seen. Michael hasn't even
Michael's
seen
never
this
seen
Mike,
yet.
it.
oh
Yeah.
yes, Michael has not even seen this
yeah.
yet.
I have not
We're gonna
even
get a
seen
raw
this yet.
reaction
Yeah.
from the man that's in the video.
So
How
Can we
about
get
that?
a Michael cam
I
while
want
this
a
one's
Michael
going on?
cam if we can. Yeah, is that possible?
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
No. While the video is playing.
Oh, I mean, I can make that happen. Nah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I want a live reaction.
enjoy the longest and darkest and most track 11th track on the album, Darkness and Despair.
11th.
Sun sets over the mountains, crosses the valleys low. Raven flies at night, now it's time to go. Stare into the distance, searching but cannot find. Sing the sound of life in these hard and troubled times. In these hard and troubled times. Once I had home, but it was taken from me. Forced to leave by a man, said it was his destiny. Now the wind starts to blow from the west, and the dust clouds fill the air. Prairie is now silent, darkness and despair, darkness and despair. Times I sit and wonder if the sun will shine on me again. Path to your own salvation can only be found within. The past is now forgotten of how things came to be. Everyone who died in the name of destiny.
Darkness.
Dungeons and
Darkness.
Dragons, D&D.
There it is, folks. That's the newest video release, Darkness and Despair.
Derek, I loved it, man. I think you killed it. That's all I
think
gotta
you
say.
killed it, man.
Nice.
The army of underwater banjos, I think, really sets that jam section up right.
Well, I mean, all I got to say about that is, you know, it was a really weird experience being in separate rooms from everyone else, rather than the rest of the album where like Derek was there, I was there, you know, like we could all see each other in the same room, and that
You could see me and Brian kind of, but you couldn't see Winston.
I couldn't.
At
Oh yeah,
all.
yeah. That's a thing too. I couldn't see Winston, so like it was kind of like how we are sitting now almost. But Brian was right there. Derek was right there. Winston was right here, but I couldn't see him. Big wall.
Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't like it, man. I mean, it was cool, but like I wanted to know what you were doing.
Here's another disclaimer at the end of Cyrene Song, where we had to go back into the booth and
That's the
nail
ending
that
again?
ending in. Yeah,
And I couldn't see you. I just
We
had to
couldn't-
trust.
we were just like, ready, man? Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I just had to have faith.
Also, disclaimer: we did not decide to dress like this tonight.
Also had faith.
You know, I took a bath.
Derek and I missed the memo about the green
Yeah,
shirt
what's up with
and,
that?
jeans.
I took a bath and then took a shower, and I got out and I said, "Man, what is Winston gonna wear tonight?"
green shirt,
I haven't worn this shirt in
jeans.
6 months, and we nailed it.
Nailed it.
You look good, bud.
Me too, man. Let's keep.
Well,
doing
there you
this.
go.
Over 30s walking club. Let's go.
You only know it if you know it.
Not quite there yet. But that song, as far as what it's about, that song is about the. Song is about it's another historical driven kind of song. It's about the Trail of Tears, actually. She was Elizabeth was wondering about y'all's outfit choices, I think. But yes, that song is about the Trail of Tears, actually, you know, and about about it. That's about it. Don't have too much else to say.
It's a great song.
I mean, that was the
Seriously.
first time that we decided to do a jam in opposition to the end of Cyrene Song, where it was like structured. We were
Yes.
like, all right, let's do like an untimed amount for each person's
Yes.
solo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And instead of doing like just 8 bars or 16 bars, we had cues and
Yes.
and the melodies that
Yeah.
people would
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
to lead
Yep.
into the next solo. So if you watch back once it gets fully released, you'll notice like at the end of the banjo, he's repeating this thing, and then we all kind of lock in, and the same thing happens for each solo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which-
the only thing that, like, the only exception to that is the end of the dobro solo, where we just kind of felt what he was doing, and it
Yep.
just kind of happened.
Yep.
But yes, at the end of like Michael's solo, there's a structured kind of like section that he played through twice, then I played through with him, and then Winston came on the last one, and then it went to my lead. And at the end of my lead, I brought it to this one little section where I played it through twice, and then Winston jumped in with me, and then by the time we got to the 4th time around, it was the last time, and we built it up to bring into Winston's lead. And then that was the coolest thing about like recording that song, was that when it came to Winston's lead, we just kind of felt it, and we just knew that it was okay. We're ending the song. We're not ending the song. We're bringing it back down into
Yeah.
like the end
Right.
section, and it just kind of
That
happened
was the peak of the
organically.
hill. Let's lay him back down.
Yeah,
easy.
and I really love how that just came together like organically, where we just felt it. Even though, like we were talking about, we were all spaced out in this big studio space where it's like in the camera it's harder to like gauge, but I mean, you know, the actual distance from myself and like Winston, who are like the furthest apart,
Easily like 50 feet.
Yeah,
at
least.
Through
yeah,
two
I'd
glasses,
say at
yeah.
least, probably more than that. Honestly, we were spread out across this huge room in 2 different isolated like areas. So like, it was cool how it like worked out where we could just feel it and then it was coming back in.
Well, and again, when we did a scratch track to this, we were almost in this vicinity that we're sitting right now. You know.
Yeah, we did record it a couple times and attempts to maybe overdub it, or I guess to have like a sample or something. And it was never an option.
It never worked.
I tried to put down the mandolin for
That was
it.
never
At the
gonna
end of the
work.
day, it's like that one in particular was the one where it's like we have to go to a studio because it's just not going to get replicated in the way that we wanted it to be in that type of situation to like record the leads in post, you know, where like we could have tried to go and like record a rhythm section as like a backing track, not like a backing track, but like record the rhythm section and then try and do like leads and vocals as post, and it just wasn't. We knew it wasn't going to feel right, so we're like, let's go all the way through and go into.
We had to rehearse it like pretty thoroughly before we went because we knew it's going to be a one take thing.
Yeah,
and
doing a 10-minute song, it's a challenge, but you know,
endurance wise as well as like
most
trying to come up with something to play that's interesting for that long of a solo. But I mean, I feel like it was a great exercise for us to. Because now our other jams on some of our like Grateful Dead covers have just been expanding in that way where because I remember recording Siren and Darkness, I remember repeating just be dynamic. And coming from those songs, I feel like we really got that out, especially on Darkness, just super up and down and up and down. Looking at the waveforms even of the master, you can see that it's like super dynamic, which is awesome.
Shout out to Caleb Knott on that mastering too.
Oh yes,
Yes,
we haven't
true.
shout out Caleb yet.
Old
yes.
Caleb Crawdad.
But all right, so here we go, kind of settling back into the end of the record and kind of coming out of the craziness that was those last 2 songs, and it's cool how this song kind of got added into the mix, like where we had basically had everything recorded. And we were getting into the mixing and we were looking at it so the one thing we definitely want to put this out on vinyl. We are going to put this out on vinyl, and we were looking at the track listing for the potential vinyl release and like seeing what each side was going to be like. And we noticed that those 2 songs and then 40 Eastbound Road are all going to be the 3rd side. And then we were like looking at the 4th side and we were like, okay, we need a little bit more. We need one more song on there to fill up the 4th side. And Derek had sent this song that he'd written, you know, a couple months prior. We hadn't played it live. We hadn't really rehearsed it as a band.
It wasn't even finished. I think it was just like a chorus and a verse.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Well, that was the best part about it.
The verse and the choruses were like written, but then like he had an idea that he wanted a bridge in there. And this is like the first like thing that we've actually like we've done a little bit since then, but like this is the first time that we actually as a band like structured out a like specific like arrangement of a song. Because a lot of times, you know, like if I write a song, I basically have like the chord structure in mind and we generally like run with it. Winston, same thing, you know, Derek with Less of My Mind, it was about all of that same kind of idea. Maybe like whether, you know, we're playing an instrumental over the chorus or the verse, you know, that kind of stuff comes up, you know, we'll figure it out from there. But this was the first time we actually, like, together, we chose out the chords and the structure of, like, how everything was going to come together, which is kind of cool to do. Something that I haven't done a lot. And,
well, and what we did was really kind of change up what everyone did, you know, I mean, it was a bridge and we let Derek sing during that, but then during the bass solo, Brian and I really try to take over a lot more of that rhythm section so that Winston could basically keep Derek where he needed to be, and we could really keep a lot of we could keep a lot of noise. I hate to say noise, but I mean like in a good sense. That was a rhythm section that rounded it out, you know, and yeah, it was a fun experience during writing that bridge.
Yeah, I mean, the arranging of it was super fun for me because that's the first time, like you said, we did all that together, and coming out of the bridge, and you guys reminded, like, there's no bass solo on this album. On the first album, we had a bow solo, and there's also another solo on, like, Last Rocky Mountain. There's, like, 2 bass solos.
Well, then we said put a talk box on top of that, buddy.
And it's like, well, we have the talk box. So, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about, like, what the song means and kind of stuff like that after the song, but just know going into it that this is one where I feel like we put everything we learned from the album, and we're like, all right, let's record this as best we can and arrange it together, and I don't know, I like it.
One more for the
It
road.
came together nice.
Without further ado, this is track 12, Dawn.
Dawn of a new day.
I'm at the dawn of a new day. Watch my past fade away. Once again, I lack emotion, 'cause this life is bittersweet. I'm just trudging through this world, trying to find myself a pearl. I can't seem to get no damn attention. Can't tell you where I've been or count up every single sin. Just know that I'm a man of conviction. This is why I stay up way too late, 'cause I'm always worried about my fate. Before it gets too long, let me sing my song, 'cause I finally got something to say. I'm at the dawn of a new day. Watch my past fade away. Once again, I lack emotion, 'cause this life is bittersweet. To New Orleans, trying to manifest my dream. It's a road of little satisfaction. Lock myself away, I'm not coming out to play. I'm not keen on social interaction. I've just got too much on my plate. 1,000 thoughts all coming way too late. I ain't doing nothing wrong, I just wanna sing my song, 'cause there's finally nothing in the way. I'm at the dawn of a new day. Watch my past fade away. Once again, I lack emotion, 'cause this life is bittersweet. 'Cause this life is bittersweet. 'Cause this life is bittersweet. day. Watch my past fade away. Once again, I like emotion, 'cause this life is bittersweet. 'Cause this life is bittersweet. 'Cause this life is bittersweet.
Right on. That was Dawn. Super proud of how that one came out.
Dawn.
Threw that
Of a
threw,
new
threw
day.
that one together in like what 2 weeks, and then mixed it like the week after.
I came over and y'all are like, "Hey, we're gonna put another song on the album," and I was like, "Cool."
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I specifically remember, like I said, we were looking at the potential vinyl listings, and I was like, I'm gonna take credit for that song being on the album. I'm not even gonna lie.
For sure, man. I mean, I
Because
wasn't
was
even
like,
considering
let's
it.
put that song on the record.
Well,
Because
the
and
songwriting-
Winston, I know, was like, I don't know. And then now I know he's like all
I
about
love
it.
it. So I do gotta
it's-
say,
I have the vision,
the songwriting credit on that goes to our good friend Donovan Uday.
Donovan Uday. Yeah, it's actually about him.
If you ever, so I'm just gonna say this. I think going forward, if we ever once we get big and we go to like cities like Chicago and we sound check at 3 o'clock, we don't start till 9 o'clock, and we go out to dinner, we need to make reservations of
For Donovan Uday.
Donovan
Donovan
Uday.
Uday.
Donovan Uday.
Nice.
Party of 4.
Party of
Got
4. Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I think that's a great, the premise of the song, let's being hopeful and looking towards the future after, kind of we got through this crazy dark section of the album, and it kind of brings it out there. But
I
it
mean,
still
not
kind of
only
gets a
that,
little bit of weird.
The whole album is kind of dark
It is,
in
yeah.
general,
Yeah.
thematically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
for
coming
sure.
out of the end, of
But
the
the
nighttime.
But as dark as the album cover may seem, it looks really happy though at the same time. Like, yeah, I know I'm pulling my wagon, but I kind of feel good about it.
There you go.
He's thankful to have a wagon
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to Alan Barnowski. At that time
Hey, Alan.
during this time of recording, he gave me his it's a ode, which they don't make anymore. It's a banjo. And he was like, "Hey man, can you set this up for me?" And he gave me the opportunity, and I said, "Hey guys, can I use this banjo on the album?" And you guys said that's cool.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
So
Not allowed. Not
that's
that's
actually not my banjo on that tune. And if it sounds better than my banjo on the rest of them, let me know, because then I'll be like, Alan, can I buy that banjo from you?
Well, we also had
Joking.
all the mic, like literally all the techniques of everything we were recording was like dialed in by the time we recorded this song. So, but no, yeah, like Brian had mentioned, like I wanted to bring some positivity into the album because there was a lot of just murdering people and going around and doing a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of cool folklore stuff too, which kind of brings it back and stuff.
Well,
but
I think I told this to Winston the other day. I was like, we play a lot of minor keys, but it's not necessarily. Some songs aren't necessarily like sad, but like it's in the minor key. But like it's okay, that's good. That makes people think like, it might sound sad, but it's good. It's the opposite of bluegrass, basically. Like you have happy lyrics with sad chords, or as in you have happy
Like the
chords.
opposite.
Yeah,
Well, D minor's not a key; it's a living.
it's a living.
That's
Hey,
true.
there you go.
no, I remember
Would have been
going.
enough.
I remember going into this song that it,
3 chords is sometimes just enough.
Would have been
but,
enough.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think it would
know.
have been enough, right?
Oh man.
There's at least 4
All these
chords in that
bluegrass
song.
is coming from up north, down here. I don't know.
No, but that song it sums up how I feel about generally the direction of where we're going, because it's like, personally previously it's just been like a lot of scratching trying to get somewhere, and now it's like finally see the light, and there's like we have momentum, and there's we're playing festivals and shows, and it's really exciting, man. It's a really cool thing, and it's kind of, I didn't write that song with that intention, but that's what it means right now to me, which is pretty cool.
For sure. Yeah, and I mean that's kind of like what I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's, at the time when you write a song, you kind of have one thing in mind, but then the songs can take on like a totally different meaning over time, and like, you know, I look at this album as, you know, and then I especially like the title of Runnin Blind and Chasin Time, like looking back on the last year that like I know everybody went through. I know that we went through it, but everybody in general went through the same kind of ideas where, you know, it's just like, hey, we're just kind of like here, you know, waiting, seeing what's going to happen. And, you know, now at the end of it, we're at the dawn of a new day. We're getting ready to play 4 shows in a weekend for the first time in over a year.
That feels so crazy.
Which is a crazy concept, you know, like to think about it. And like, I feel like right now we're sitting at that dawn of a new day where like we're literally getting ready to like get back into like the swing of things, you know, and feel back normal again. So
it was a crazy year, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be 10 years from now. It'll be interesting to be like,
look,
you guys remember what 2020 was like?
I'm gonna watch this video and be like,
remember
wow.
2020?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother thing we got to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know, man.
Aliens are here,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Joking.
Well, I mean, that kind of leads into the next song.
I mean,
right?
who knows, man? You know, shoot.
We did learn how to make a pretty good looking stream, though, if I have to say.
Hey, I'm not
Shouts
gonna
to
lie.
Derek Lane on this
Hey.
fancy looking
Yeah,
stream that you
I
had to
appreciate
look
it.
at.
That is one thing. If you guys want to go back and actually look at the history of our online presence video wise, give it to our man Derek. Like, cheers, man.
Cheers, bro.
You did such a good job. Seriously.
Yeah, cheers.
If you go back and look at everything, and you'll see how things progress. And if it wasn't for Derek here, we wouldn't be where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling these guys a while ago that like,
Ooh, we got to fight.
not only just the album, but like,
Sorry, the Canes.
There's a fight right now.
you got to fight on the
this
Canes
right
game.
here is the Canes game right here. I'm sorry. I told you I would be distracted.
I can
That's
see
okay.
it.
That's
I can
okay.
see it.
The boys are up 1-0, you know, and we got a little skirmish there, you know. But there you go.
Keep going, Derek.
Well, I was telling
Sorry.
the boys that not only with mixing the album, but like with the video stuff, I've learned like a couple college courses in this last like year and a half of trying to figure all this stuff out. And
Yeah, you've been killing it. I mean, like, you could have done the video and like that'd have been enough. Like, you could have put the logos on there, but you put the fog in the background, man.
listen, man,
fog,
listen,
the
you got to
fog.
go all out.
Oh, that's fog.
Like, it would have been enough.
You thought it was something else? It's okay.
Well, you know, I guess I'll introduce this next one a little bit too. Final Destination. This was an interesting tune. You guys presented this one to me very early in my career with you guys, and it was a very cool tune. I think this one got developed a lot too. You know,
Yeah.
since the beginning of
Fun fact about this one for you headphone listeners out there: only song on the album where the vocals aren't in the center.
Ooh.
And
So-
and notice, I just want you guys to notice for the ending of the song. We'll talk about it more later, but just listen.
Here it is, Final Destination.
Driving down the highway, the tune of sounds ringing in my head. And not so long ago, I laid awake and watched you dreaming all these sweet scenes in my bed. With the sunrise, I was sneaking out the door. Cried, good God, there's gotta be something more. I never thought I'd be 21, so I peaked early. A rainy day, surprised to see the bags beneath my eyes in the mirror. When time is always now, what's left except for last, with hopes today could be a little clearer. Tired of waking up and counting on you. We're sitting around here with nothing to do, with a bloodshot stare and my fingers through my hair to ease my mind. In the The world I've come to find is full of doubt and shame. So I keep on running, 'cause there's no one left to blame. There's no one left to blame. Destination, a familiar eager sound on the wind. A bourbon-laced smile slapped across my face. I think I see you up around the bend. Am I the only one that drinks whiskey alone? The funeral line waiting when you come home. Thinking of a time when you had less on your mind but still worried. The world I've come to find is full of doubt and shame. So I keep on running, 'cause there's no one left to blame. No one left to blame. No one left to blame.
Left to blame, eh?
No one left to blame.
No one left to blame. Oh man, that is Final Destination.
Michael didn't sing on that one, but he did sing on a couple of the other ones. He chooses to sing live like half the time, but
That's because he plays banjo. As an ex-banjo player.
Brian, at least, hey, you're the only one that never gives me shit about not singing.
Because
so
I'm an
I actually
ex-banjo
appreciate
player.
that. Yeah.
Because I'm an ex-banjo player, and I know
Derek
what
doesn't
it
give me
means
shit.
to
Actually, it's only
play
this
banjo
guy.
and
I just
sing.
like your
But
heart.
at the same time, I used to in ITF 1.0, I used to sing and play banjo at the same time. I used to sing leads and play banjo at the same time.
Yeah, you know what? You stand next to me to keep me on my toes.
So I just look over and I'm like, he's not singing. All right, I'm gonna sing his part.
Or sometimes you look over at me and be like, "Hey, sing," and I'll be like,
Okay.
No, baby, I don't want to sing right now. No, that's not it.
You'll find Michael's vocal tastings on Maybe This Old Train,
Truth.
40 Eastbound Road,
Truth.
And Midnight One.
Midnight One.
Truth.
We did it, ladies and gentlemen.
We did it, folks.
I had to remind everyone, but
And that's
it's okay.
25% of the album right there.
It's kind of
Almost. Not
It's
quite.
a good 25% of the album.
Yeah, I guess it is 25%. Yeah.
Wait, no,
Almost.
14 songs.
It's like not
Yeah,
even
close.
close to 25.
Like 20-ish. Anyways, that tune was
close.
called Final Destination. I wrote that song a long time ago.
Yeah, we were thinking about, like, I know I was talking with Derek specifically about, like, what's the oldest, like, song on this album, and I think your two, Final Destination and Truck Stop, are
Yeah.
like the oldest, like, as what, obviously they kind of changed. Final Destination has pretty much stayed from the
Yeah.
first time that I heard it when you played it. Like, I know that's probably at least 5-6 years
Yeah.
old at this point.
Yep, it
When we
stayed
fir-
pretty much the same.
That one
through the
stayed pretty
years.
much the same. Obviously, Truck Stop changed a whole lot from the first iteration, and then I know Railroad Man was probably like close in that same kind of time. So those three songs are like the oldest that predate the first album, definitely as far as like when they were written. But yeah, there we go. So brings us to
Go Canes.
yes, go Canes. Still 1-0. Boys still putting it on. I got through a little power play there, shorthanded little session there. Came down 4v4 for a little bit, but they're hanging in there good.
Yeah, what was that now? Say all that again. Slow down. I need to
Talking about music.
right.
Let's go Canes. You know, that's all we got to say about that. That's all we got to say.
We got one more song here.
But yes,
Winston? You haven't talked much, man. Why don't you talk about this next song and what it means to you?
All right. This is a tune called "River Rolls Along," and it's a song that Brian wrote about one of our musical heroes and kind of the main inspiration for the band, or one of the main inspirations for the band, who passed away a little over a year ago. And just has a lot of really cool lines in it. I know when the first time Brian sent me the lyrics, it kind of messed me up for a few minutes. But it's just a crazy song. It's like kind of in 2 keys the whole time, and
Kinda
like,
is,
but
yeah.
it works, and it's just a really good tune. What's it mean to you there, Brian?
So, the person he's talking about is a guy named Jeff Austin, who was the longtime mandolin player for the Yonder Mountain String Band. And I know for me in particular, I don't think that I would be playing this type of music if it wasn't for Jeff Austin. The way that he brought this rock and roll mentality to, bluegrass music. And, I grew up, I went to, like dulcimer workshops, as a child, like young, with my grandparents. And so I was familiar with like old time Appalachian mountain music. And, but then, I kind of grew out of it as I was a young kid. I just kind of wanted to play like Pearl Jam and Nirvana and on guitar and, that and old classic rock and stuff. I didn't really have a respect for it. Then I got a little bit older, and then I came across like this jamgrass kind of thing. And more than anything, it was Yonder Mountain String Band. And Yonder Mountain, to me, like was like Jeff Austin. And Jeff Austin like brought this crazy mentality and this insane energy to this type of music, and I was hooked from there. And I dove deep into it. And I remember being up at our buddy Jack's cabin. We were up playing like a show that weekend or something, and I remember being up there, and I remember seeing the news that he was in the hospital, and then that it wasn't looking good, and just like in the weeks like passing, like kind of getting my thoughts around it. And then I don't know, maybe like a month later, I kind of was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try and put into words what his impact was on me, and like what he means to me. And it was I'd say this is probably the most like I have the most connection to this song that I've ever, more so than any song that I've ever written, just because of the impact that he had on my life and my career, and what I do and like what I try and do. And I mean, I threw in some references as far as like going back to some songs and stuff that he wrote. But I really don't know too much else to say. It's just that it's really just my tribute to him and what I feel like he means to me. And
I think Jeff means so much to every single one of us, and it's the song, like Winston said, and like I got the lyrics too, and started kind of looking at it more and more, and it just kind of hits. I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the song, but it's if you know Jeff, I think Jeff would love this song, and I think Jeff would just smile, But yeah, it's a good song. Brian did a good job.
Yeah, it should be a music video coming out not too long. Hopefully we can get that working on that.
Plan. But well, I don't really know quite what else to say about it, but
Let the music speak for itself.
there it is right there. Shout out to Mr. Jeff Austin up above. Thank you so much for everything that you do, and thank you for all the inspiration. And I like to think that you're looking down and listening and just jamming out with us.
Love you, Jeff.
Here it is.
The song's called River Rolls Along.
Here I go again, trying to twist my own fate. Truth to consciousness that you never seem to shake. Lost in the dark now that your candles burn out. In my mind I can still hear your voice on and shout. Nobody knows just what the night will bring. 2 gold coins for the boatman, and you will hear him sing another song, turning back the cruel hands of time. Hide the pain that was inside of you and your lost and troubled mind. I wish I could express what your words mean to me. It's too late now to tell you all that's left of memory. And the river rolls along, singing an old familiar song. And the night is so cold. All that's left now, all the stories told. As I stare into the darkness of another lonely town, I think about tomorrow and the past left behind, torn from the bigger picture and from the grand design. Truth of the matter is that life is compressed into fragments of time where you rise above the rest. Hope that you know there were so many of those, so many who would change, but oh, so many roads left to run and ramble. Now there's no time left to fight. Sometimes it takes a little pain just to find to see the light. And the river someday we'll meet up around the bend, sit down and reminisce just like long lost friends. I'll do my best to help your words carry on and provide relief to others in time before they're gone. I know it feels like this night will never end. Rest assured, my brother, that the sun will rise again, shining its light by the end of the day. You gotta keep on going strong when there's nothing left to say. And the river rolls along, singing an old familiar song. And the night is so cold, all that's left now, all the stories told. And the river rolls along, singing an old familiar song. And the night is so cold, all that's left now, all the stories told.
Well, Facebook pooped out on us.
Yeah, looks like we got zucked again on our own content, but what are you gonna do?
Copyrighted on our
Thanks,
own damn
Zuck.
album.
If you're here from YouTube, we appreciate you.
Thanks for watching, John.
Hey, John.
Anybody else on YouTube, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for enjoying this record. Yeah,
It'll be on streaming platforms
Friday,
Let's go.
If you're in
Thursday
Raleigh,
at midnight, technically, or
Ooh.
whatever, whatever you want to look at it.
if you're in Raleigh, come to the poorhouse.
If you're in Asheville, come to One World Brewing West. If you're in Wilmington, come to the Palm Room. If you're in the Virginia Beach area, go to Bench Stop Brewing in Norfolk.
Or if you're John.
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 Yeah, thanks for letting me listen to mixes in your Apple headphones there at the end.
Nice.
A couple of these mixes were confirmed with John's headphones and a spot in his driveway. Fun fact.
Well, I guess we'll say check you later.
Check you later.